Oh, ah. You see it? We got that first comment.
I don't see nothing.
Live viewer comment. It's from StreamYard. They always here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
I don't want to hurt you. Eddie, Eddie. Oh. Mm-mm-mm.
Damn lights keep flickering in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting pretty annoying.
Trying to get you out the spirit. Yo, man. I hope everybody started their feast of dedication off the right way. The right way. So when the sun goes down, it will officially be day 2 of feast dedication. So we wanted to break a little bread before the sun goes down. We want to try and keep it going every day for the next 8 days. Doing a video, going into the book of Maccabees, reading a passage or a chapter, talking about it, breaking it down. It's almost like a marathon, right? Marathon. But today, what we're going to do, we're going to read First Maccabees chapter 2. We read First Maccabees chapter 1. We read Daniel chapter 8. We read Second Maccabees. No, is it First Maccabees? Or Second Maccabees chapter 9. We read different precepts in there, but we want to knock down that chapter. This is a good chapter. I almost want to. I pull it up in the GNT.
Okay.
The GNT. And if y'all got any questions, y'all already know. Ask any questions y'all got.
The GNT is right there. Well, I got the KJV popped up right now.
Okay, kind. Well, we're gonna just jump right into it. I wanted to wait until the room kind of filled up a little bit more, but we can go ahead and jump into it. So first and foremost, we're gonna give all praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah. We got Soja Nazar in here, Shalom King. Hey man, as you come in here, man, drop something in the chat so we know who all in here rocking with us. That's all I got.
We're just gonna get straight into it. You want me to read?
Nah, I got it.
Okay.
All right, it says, in those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, it says, a priest of the sons of Jorab. I can't even say that word. Jorab. How would you say that word?
I thought Joe Rib.
Joarib. That sounds good.
That's what I thought.
That sounds real good. I'm getting confounded. We got said in here, Shalom, Mike. Shalom. I never seen you in here. I don't think. All praises to the Most High God. Shalom. If you got any questions or whatever, just drop them in the chat, and Lord willing, we can get to them. It says from Jerusalem and dwelt in Modin. So they was actually priests. Judas Maccabees, his fathers, they was actually Levites. It says, and he had 5 sons, Johanan, and a lot of times you'll see it transliterated to John, called Caddis, Simeon called Thassi or Thassi, Judas who was called Maccabeus, Eleazar called Arvaran, and Jonathan whose name was Apphus. It says, and when he saw the blasphemies that were committed in Judah and Jerusalem, he said, woe is me, wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people and of the holy city, and dwell there, when it was delivered into the hand of the enemy, and the sanctuary into the hand of strangers. He said, why did I have to be born to see this? To see the sanctuary get get knocked down, and all of the things that they stole out of our sanctuary, the candlesticks or the menorah, the altars. Man, he had to live through and see all of that, and it was great misery unto him. It says, her temple has become as a man without glory. Her glorious vessels are carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy. What nation have not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils? And that's really, hey, okay, so it was your first time. I'm not tripping. Said all praises to the Most High, man. Um, man, yeah, lock in with us, man. We be breaking bread. I'm gonna get excited when I see you now that I know this your first time in here. I'm actually gonna ask you a question. How long you been in the truth? Um, so it says, what nation have not had a part of our spoils? What kingdom has not had a part of that? Come to find out, you're gonna see that just about every nation on earth has had a part in massacring the Israelites. It says all her ornaments are taken away. Oh, okay, 2 years. So you kind of got ties to it. You've been around for a minute. All praises. It says because we get a lot of new people, in that come watch our channel. We're not the deepest brothers, so we kind of the camp that help you, get started, with the milk or whatnot. But all praises, 2 years, man. All praises to the Most High. It says all her ornaments are taken away. It says, of a free woman, she has become a bondslave. And behold, our sanctuary, even our beauty and our glory is laid waste, and the Gentiles have profaned it. To what end, therefore, shall we live any longer? Then Mattathias and his sons rent their clothes and put on sackcloth and mourned very sore. So he had all his sons got in the spirit. They rent their clothes, they put on sackcloth, and they mourned for the things that happened to Israel, for the things that happened in Jerusalem and in Judah. It says, in the meanwhile, the king's officers, such as compelled the people to revolt, came into the city Modin to make them sacrifice. Hey, let's go to the GNT and let's read verse 15 in the GNT. Watch what it says. It says, then the king's officials who were forcing the people to turn from God came to the town of Modin to force the people there to offer pagan sacrifices. That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
But this is actually going to happen again. They're literally going to they're going to try and force us to stop obeying the Most High God. It says, many of the Israelites came to meet them, including Mattathias and his sons. The king's officials said to Mattathias, you are a respected leader in this town, and you have the support of all your sons and relatives. Why not be the first one here to do what the king has commanded? All the Gentiles, the people of Judea, and all the people left in Jerusalem have already done so. If you do, you and your sons will be honored with the title of friends of the king, and you will be rewarded with silver and gold and many gifts. So they seen how powerful Mattathias is and how respected he was in the nation. So they was trying to persuade him to be the first one to break God's laws because the rest of the people would follow. And that's kind of how our people are with sheep. We leaders, we're supposed to be leaders, but we follow a lot of times. That's just how people are on a larger scale anyway. A lot of times people just follow the wave. But let's see what Mattathias says. It says, Mattathias answered in a loud voice, I don't care If every Gentile in this empire has obeyed the king and yielded to the command to abandon the religion of his ancestors, my children, my relatives, and I will continue to keep the covenant that God made with our ancestors. With God's help, we will never abandon his law or disobey his commands. So he getting hot with him. He getting hot with him. He getting hyphy with him. This is a beautiful thing to see. He getting on fire for the Most High God. He getting loud with the officials from the king and said, "We're not doing that. We're gonna serve the Most High God. We're gonna keep His covenant. We're not doing nothing you say." It says, "We will not obey the king's decree, and we will not change our way of worship in the least. In the least, we're not changing nothing." It says, just as he finished speaking, one of the men from Modin decided to obey the king's decree and stepped out in front of everyone to offer a pagan sacrifice on the altar that stood there. So while he's saying that, just as he finished saying that, you had an Israelite. He decided to obey what the officers was saying. And he went to go offer up a sacrifice right in front of Mattathias, right in front of everyone that was in the city of Modin. Because everybody came out of their houses, the armies and the officials of the king, they pulled up to Modin. So everybody kind of outside, they seeing what's going on. You know, you got Mattathias' sons there. You got other, high-ranking people in the city, all the way down to the lower-ranking people, to the regular citizens. Everyone saw what this man did, what he was attempting to do. Verse 24 says, when Mattathias saw him, he became angry enough to do what had to be done. That's hot.
Mm-hmm.
It said he got so angry, he was finna go do what had to be done. Shaking with rage, he ran forward and killed the man right there on the altar.
Yep.
He did what had to be done. He also killed the royal official who was forcing the people to sacrifice, and then he tore down the altar. He mighty, bro. He's crazy. He's crazy. All praises to the Most High. All praises to the Most High.
Hey, um, that's according to the law, though. When anybody, if somebody was to come to you and say, "Let's worship this God whom you and your fathers have not known," it's raps. It's raps. Let me see. Um, Let me see. Deuteronomy 17. This ain't what I'm looking for, but this is a good one. 17, and I'm gonna start at 2. If there be found among you within any of thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, man or woman, that hath wrought wickedness in the sight of the Lord thy God in transgressing his covenant, and hath gone and served other gods, and worshipped them, either the sun or moon, or any of the hosts of heaven, which I have not commanded, and it be told thee, and thou hast heard of it, and inquired diligently, and behold, it be true, the thing certain that such abomination is wrought in Israel, then shalt thou bring forth that man or woman which have committed that wicked thing unto thy gates, even that man or woman, and shalt stone them with stones till they die. And Mattathias, he was so zealous for the law, he already knew what the law was going into. He already knew what the law said. It just wasn't enough spirit to wait. He had to, hey, he had to do what it was. Let's see what it said. He became angry enough to do what had to be done. This had to be done. He had to get wickedness out immediately. He had to put forth an example. If you around me and you get down with this is what's gonna happen. He didn't ask the dude, is he sure? He didn't tell him, hey man, no, stop. He didn't yell out that. Mattathias is standing right here, standing bold for the Lord, and you got this sellout walking out over there. I mean, well, shit, I'll do it. That's off. And And Mattathias was found more righteous for doing that. He was found more righteous for taking the wicked of our people out, right? And that's what's gonna have to. That's what the 2/3 is all about. I mean, if you want to be completely honest, that's what's gonna have to happen again. We can't get in power until 2/3 of our people is gone, because 2/3 of our people act like this man right here. Shit, I go sacrifice to the king. I mean, what about it? That's off. That's off as hell, you know. So Mattathias did exactly what he was supposed to do, even according to the law, you know. But that's all I got, Oxlakia.
No. That's perfect. What verse we on?
26.
Okay, it says, in this way, Mattathias showed his deep devotion for the law. Real quick, jump back to the KJV. I want to see what the KJV say in verse 26. Look at that. It says, thus dealt he zealously for the law of God, like as Phineas did unto Zambri, the son of Selim.
Yeah. You want me to bring that account out?
Yeah, bring that out. Ew. He didn't get in trouble for that. He did not get in trouble for killing that man. And you got to understand the law to be able to understand why he didn't get in trouble for that. You got to be tapped in with the laws of the Most High God to understand that. You got to kind of be tapped in to understand that. Go ahead, Doc.
You good? I'm gonna get a blue letter so they can follow along with this.
Okay.
Blue letter, Numbers, chapter 25. We'll start at verse 6. It says, and behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses and in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among his congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. Now, if you don't got context on what's going on, first off, he brought a heathen woman towards the congregation and amongst the people, right? But guess what? The law tells us not to do that. That's why you got to have context on what's going on. You kind of get caught out there like, damn, why did he do that? Or, oh, she just a heathen and that's why. Let's find out. Let's go back to Numbers 1, verse 51. All these righteous men are doing everything according to the law. They're not going to go outside of the law. I just want that to be set forth. Numbers 151. And when the tabernacle setteth forward, the Levite shall take it down. And when the tabernacle is to be pitched, the Levite shall set it up. And the stranger that cometh nigh shall be put to death. So Phineas, all Phineas was doing was obeying the words of the Most High. To put it quite simple. And guess what? Phineas received a covenant for that. He received the everlasting covenant. Verse 12. Verse 12. I'm gonna start at 10. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phineas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, hath turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous, just as Mattathias was, for my sake among them, that I consumed them not, the children of Israel, in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his God, and made an atonement for the children of Israel. So Maccabees is recapping what happened back during the time of Moses and them, with Phineas, one of the earliest priests we got, right? And he was zealous for the Lord. He showed a deep devotion for what? The law. That's what that's going into. All the righteous forefathers showed a deep devotion for the law. He wasn't accounted righteous if he didn't. Even Christ, he showed a deep devotion for the law. Paul, Peter, the apostles, the disciples, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Luke, you got Ezra, Nehemiah, everybody, Zechariah, Zerubbabel, you name it, they all knew the law, understood the law, and had a righteous spirit and deep devotion for the law. But Salakia, it's on you.
Kind. Ain't no way around that. You got to keep the law. A lot of people want to get around that. Where we was at? We back in the GNT kind. Verse 27. Then Mattathias went through the town shouting, "Everyone who is faithful to God's covenant and obeys his laws follow me." With this, he and his sons fled to the mountains, leaving behind all they owned. Look at how that's major. A lot of people go look over that and keep reading, but I actually want to stop right there and touch on that. So you had intruders destroying our temple, destroying our land, putting our people in subjection, putting us in captivity under tribute, forcing us to disobey God's laws. It says, verse 28, with this, he and his sons fled to the mountains, leaving behind all they owned. The reason why they left behind their household, their possessions, mind you, this is a priest. Priests are taken care of very well.
Yeah.
They're taken care of very, very well. Very, very well. They don't need or want for nothing because the Most High God provides for them through the laws. They decided to leave every single thing they owned so they can keep the laws of the Most High God. And there's going to be a time here in America where we have to leave everything behind, everything we own. Cars, clothes, the devices, PlayStations, phones. Okay. You name it. You might even have to leave behind family who don't want to go. That's just what's going to have to happen. So start getting mentally prepared. This is what your forefathers did. This is what made them so mighty in the eyes of the Most High. This is why they were honorable before God and men, because they did I'm gonna just say it, real niggas do real shit. And this is what it's gonna turn out to.
Yeah.
This is how it's gonna turn out. Hey, if the Most High don't put you in this position, hey, all praises go to the Most High God, and you thank him for that. But don't be so amazed or caught off guard if you are in this position, because it's happened to our forefathers. It happened to some of us. You got anything on that, Ike?
No, sir.
Verse 29. At that time, also many of the Israelites who were seeking to be right with God through obedience to the law went out to live in the wilderness. That's hot. They wanted to be right with God through obeying the law. So they went into the wilderness, taking their children, their wives, and even their livestock with them because of the terrible oppression they were suffering. It's like, yeah, I can't even read no more. Just throw my whole mind away. It says the report soon reached the king's officials and the soldiers in the fort at Jerusalem that some men who had defied the king's command had gone into hiding in the wilderness. A large force of soldiers pursued them, caught up with them, set up camp opposite them, and prepared to attack them on the Sabbath. And that's how our enemies do. They know what to do. They watch us. If you don't think that Esau is watching us, you're sadly mistaken.
Right.
You're being naive. If you're a brother who's doing the work of the Most High God, he's watching you. He's definitely watching you. He knows how we keep in the Sabbaths. He knows where we holding camps. He knows the hot spots in America. He knows all of it. He know who your wife is. He know how many kids you got. He know those things. He know when you're most vulnerable. So this is what he did, and prepared to attack them on the Sabbath. Now, one thing about the Sabbath is the day of rest. So a lot of Israelites, we resting. Verse 33 says, there is still time, they shouted out to the Jews, come out and obey the king's command and we will spare your lives. We will not come out, they answered, and we will not obey the king's command, and we will not profane the Sabbath. So they telling you what they're going to do. We're not getting down with what they trying to make us do. We're not breaking the Most High God's commandments, and we're not going to profane the Sabbath, and we're not going to submit to you. It
Right.
says, so the soldiers attacked them immediately. But the Jews did nothing to resist. They did not even throw stones or block the entrances to the caves where they were hiding. So they didn't do nothing. They just let it happen. They said, we will all die with a clear conscience. Let heaven and earth bear witness that you are slaughtering us unjustly. So the enemy attacked them on the Sabbath and killed the men, their wives, their children, and their livestock. 1,000 people died. 1,000 people did not fight back.
Yep.
Because it was the Sabbath. And 1,000 people died. Unjustly. Unjustly. They let that happen. 39 says, when Mattathias and his friends heard the news about this, they were greatly saddened and said to one another, if all of us do as the other Jews have done and refuse to fight the Gentiles to defend our lives and our religion, we will soon be wiped off the face of the earth. So they're saying if we do what they did, all the Israelites are going to be gone.
Yeah.
All of us are going to perish. That's why we have wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We know that we can't break commandments. Now we in sin. We're not supposed to work on a Sabbath. But how do we apply wisdom in this situation? How do we apply knowledge and understanding and discernment on this situation? What do we do? If we don't fight back and protect ourselves, we all gonna die. But let's see what Mattathias did. Mind you, he is a priest. He's arguably one of the most zealous men on the scene when it comes to the law. He's very zealous for the law. He don't want to break the law, but you got to use understanding. You got to have knowledge, and you got to have discretion and discernment. Verse 41, on that day, they decided that if anyone attacked them on the Sabbath, they would defend themselves so that they would not all die as the other Jews had died in the caves. So see that through wisdom, through knowledge, and through understanding, they had a game plan. Are they willingly going to break the Sabbath? Of course not. Hell no. God forbid. God forbid. But if a group or a host or an army, a garrison, a platoon or whatever it is, tries to attack us on the Sabbath, we're going to defend ourselves. And that's true wisdom. That's true knowledge. And that's true understanding. And that's true discernment. What are you going to do if it's the Sabbath and someone breaks into your house at night? Do you say it's the Sabbath and you just let him do what he want to do, and he grab your wife and she's screaming and yelling, and you just look at her and say it's the Sabbath? That's off. That's madness, and you're not using wisdom. You lack a lot of understanding if you just sit there and let your wife get taken because it's the Sabbath, and the thief said, you better not move. It's the Sabbath. No working.
I'm blowing that nigga head up.
Put his head back. You see what I'm saying? Hey,
It ain't
even Christ talked about this, you know. Aharon, you remember that account? We can kind of talk about it. First of all, it's lawful to do good on the Sabbath, right? I think that's Matthew 12 and 12. I'm gonna go check, but it's another account where they was dealing with it might be the same account where he was like, okay, so what do we got to do on the 8th day after a man child is born? All right,
circumcise him.
we got to circumcise our little baby, a man child. You got to circumcise on the 8th day. What if the 8th day falls on a Sabbath?
Circumcise him.
You do what, Ak?
Circumcise him.
You circumcise him. Are you going to be held accountable for breaking the Sabbath for that? No. It's lawful to do well on the Sabbath. It's lawful to do that. So studying the law is actually serious. It's really serious.
You gotta apply wisdom to it. You can't just read it and just wing it. That's not how it works.
It's not how it works, man. So this is Matthew 12. I'm gonna start at verse 10. Matthew 12 and 10. You know what? I'm gonna pull up.
I got that count.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it
Circumcision.
up. Say it again, King.
The circumcision account you was talking about?
It's not Matthew 12.
Not to my knowledge, it's John 10, John 7.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it up. Let's get the blue letter. John 7.
Verse 23.
Okay, bet. John 7 and verse 23. It says, if a man on the Sabbath day receives circumcision, that the law of Moses should not be broken, are ye angry at me because I have made a man every whit whole on the Sabbath day? Are you mad at me for that?
Right.
That's nuts. And this is in red writing, right? This is actually what Christ said. I believe it's in red writing.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, cool. And this is an infamous scripture right here. At least in the Israelite community. If you tap in long enough, this scripture right here is kind of infamous. You know, it's a lot. This scripture right here is plain. It's very simple. It's very simple, but you have a lot of confusion surrounded by the scripture because of the world, because of Christianity, because Tupac, and things of that nature. You know, people got tattoos on their chest that say only God can judge me. But let's actually read the next scripture. It says, judge not. And a lot of people, that's all they hear when they read the scripture. Judge not. But let's keep reading. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. That's actually in the law. I'm going to show y'all that. It says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Let me show y'all that in the law. So the thing is, judgment is completely fine. I always say this. We have a book in the Bible called Judges, the book of Judges. We actually were commanded in the law to set up judges. Judgment, that is actually, whenever you break the commandments, the judges will sentence you with whatever that judgment is worthy of, or whatever that sin is worthy of, rather.
Yep.
So whenever people are trying to tell you only God can judge me, that's not really what the Bible teaches.
You lack understanding.
You like very simple principles according to the Bible. Now, this is Leviticus 19 and 15. So Christ said, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Now, look at what the law is saying. Ye shall do no unrighteousness in judgment. So basically, you can't be a wicked judge. You can't judge wickedly. It says, thou shalt not respect the person of the poor, nor honor the person of the mighty, but in righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor. So you can't, have more favor on someone because, they rich, or they're, a prince, or they might have a lot of wealth, and they might have a strong family name. They might be from the line of King David. The problem is not actually passing judgment. You just got to pass righteous judgment. So you can't be biased. That's what that scripture is going into. You
Mhm.
can't be biased. You have to judge righteous judgment. What is righteous judgment? It's judging according to the law. That's why I went all the way back to the law in Leviticus 19, verse 15, to show you an example of what judging righteously looks like. I want to grab another precept on that, Aharon. You got anything though?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, this is what I want. It's Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 1. So y'all check this out. I'm gonna give you another one. This is a dagger. This is a dagger. Deuteronomy 1 and 16. It says, and I charged your judges at that time, saying, hear the causes between your brethren, and judge righteously between every man and his brother, and the stranger that is with him. So we actually set judges up. If you don't have any judgments and judges, how do you put order in the kingdom? What do you do if someone disobeys the law? Do you not judge him? You say only God can judge him, and no one does anything.
Right. Don't touch them. That's for God to do.
That's madness.
Yeah.
That's
We
madness.
gotta, bro. That's the thing. That's really the point. Because a lot of people look at our laws as mystical and freakish and just spookism or whatever because it's in the Bible. They think, oh, you're not good enough to actually keep the law. It's like, no, you don't understand it. These laws were given to literally govern our people and our land. They're just laws. That's it. They are laws. It's not, it ain't nothing weird behind it. It was given because, hey, if this brother is over here murdering people, we need to put a stop to this. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, man, well, we kind of can't do nothing. Only God can judge them. I mean, my hands are tied. And he's just going around killing people. Or say you got a man that's just going around raping women. Or what if you got a man that's going around being a pedophile? Oh, well, I'll pray that he just stops. Man, go handle that. That's
Go
literally what that's for. Go handle that. Salaki, it's on you.
right. I'm gonna go to this precept real quick so I don't forget it. We love First Corinthians chapter 6.
Also, by the way, we're talking about back then. Of course, we can't handle it now. We not govern our own selves. But yes, back then that's what it was.
Yeah, this is what captivity is about.
Right.
Not being able to govern ourselves, having to abide by the rules. So Deuteronomy 1 and 16, 17 now. It says, ye shall not respect persons in judgment. So you can't be biased in judgment. You can't show favor in judgment. You got to being a judge is tough. You might have a childhood friend up there you got to judge or sentence to death. And you know what? You can't be biased. It might be your mom. It might be a
Yeah.
dad. But this is really heavy. You can't respect that person in judgment. You can't be biased. It says, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God's, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. So this is what Moses is telling the men that's going to become judges. You can't be biased in judgment. You got to hear everybody, the small as well as the great, the poor as well as the rich. You got to hear both sides of the story. Now I'm a charge people with this because this is something you have to do. Even though I'm not an actual judgment and passing judgments or sentencing people um, with judgments like death or imprisonment or fines, I'm not that kind of judge. But I can judge between smaller matters between my people, right? That's why we have a congregation. And this is something brothers got to do. I even do this with my red. I do this with Aharon. Aharon get upset about something and he starts telling me what's wrong. Or if he's venting about something another brother did in the camp, I'm gonna hear Aharon out. I'm not gonna be too quick or too hasty. I'm like, okay. I get where you're coming from. It might just be a small problem, but if it's a big problem and it comes to me, I have to hear both sides of the story. I have to. If I don't, if I'm just on Aharon's side because he's my best friend, I'm going off in judgment. I'm being a respecter of persons. I'm being biased. I gotta hear what the other brother says too before I even make any judgment, before I say who right or who wrong. So that's something you gotta apply to your life. It's gonna save you a lot of trouble too. So it says, "You shall not be afraid of the face of men." So sometimes you might be afraid to pass a certain judgment because a man might be wealthy or he might come from a powerhouse family, right? He might come from a powerhouse family because we had tribes, but we had houses and clans within those tribes. So you might have a family from the house of Issachar that was waxing mighty, and they're well known in the tribe of Issachar. They're one of the top houses. You can't be afraid to pass that judgment. You can't be afraid. Why? It says because at the end of the day, the judgment is God's. You
Mm-hmm.
know why? Because you're judging according to the law of God. So if that man is gay and it comes before him in court, don't be afraid to sentence him to death. Why? Because at the end of the day, you're judging according to the law of God, right? It says, and the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me and I will hear it. Did you want to get in there?
I got a precept after you.
Okay. And this is the thing what Moses said, because a lot of times you'll have sticky situations. The law touches on so many things from landmarks to agriculture, of course, to animals and beasts and the things you can do with them, the things you can't do with them, from you actually eating them, what they're what you'll use it for any kind of thing. The law covers so many things: moral laws, civil laws, high holy days. You got judgments. You got smaller ordinances. You got statutes. You got so many different laws. The laws are perfect, right? They're set there for a reason. But sometimes the law doesn't go into things distinctively. Like one of the things me and Aharon always go into, the law tells you cannot have sex with your mom, right? In Leviticus 18, you can't uncover your mom. You can't have sex with your mom. But the law does not say that you can't kiss her in the mouth and grab her butt and think about it. Like the law don't say that. It don't say you can't slap her butt. So some brothers will use that. And look, that's what brings me back to this verse. It says, "And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it." So sometimes something might pop off, and you might not have a law that distinctively go into great detail about how to deal with it. But if it was something that came across a judge's table and it was too hard for him to deal with, he don't have enough wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the law, he would take it to Moses because Moses, he got the bag, he got understanding, he got discernment. He know what the law was there for. He know the spirit of the law. So even though the law don't say you can't slap your mama butt and squeeze it and do strange, we know through the spirit, we know through wisdom, knowledge, and understanding those things is unacceptable, right? So the thing that's too hard for these judges, you would go up the ladder to judges who got more understanding. That's why you don't judge according to appearance, but you judge righteous judgment. It's on you, Aharon.
Kind. Um,
You want
touch
the
on.
screen?
Uh, I mean, I can.
You just vibing. Go ahead.
He said, uh, going back to what you said about or what the Bible said about how the judgment isn't theirs, it's God, right? It's God's judgment. Just to prove that point, this is Deuteronomy 17 and 12. You already proved it, but just to add a precept on it. And the man that will do presumptuously and will not hearken unto the priest that standeth to minister there before the Lord thy God, or unto the judge, even that man shall die, and thou shalt put away evil from Israel. So to go against the judgment or whatever the priest or the judges would tell to go against that, you'll be put to death, automatic death sentence, because it's you're not going against that man you're sitting in front of. You're going against God. That's literally what it is. It's like, okay, you want to do what God said? Okay, cool. Put him to death. You had something?
I was trying to see what precept you read.
Deuteronomy 17 and verse 12.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I just needed that in my bag.
Yeah, it's like hot.
Yeah, I gotta mark that up real quick in my new bike. I feel like I'm gonna need it soon. We're gonna jump back to the Maccabees.
All right, is my screen still sharing?
I can pull it up right now.
You want the KJV or the GNT?
That's a good question. All right. We can get the GNT. It's easier to break down,
I feel it.
quicker to break down. Some things is way more powerful though in the KJV.
Yeah, that's true.
Like some of them be more powerful, but like just getting the understanding of the overview of things, the GNT be powerful. So yeah, 41. I'm gonna start at 40. It says, let me zoom in on my screen. My eyes. Okay. Verse 40, it says, and said to one another, if all of us do as these other Jews have done and refuse to fight the Gentiles to defend our lives and our religion, we will soon be wiped off the face of the earth. On that day, they decided that if anyone attacked them on the Sabbath day, they would defend themselves so that they would not all die as the other Jews died in the caves. Then Mattathias and his friends were joined by a group of devout and patriotic Jews, the strongest and bravest men in Israel, who have all volunteered to defend the law.
Yeah, that's
I
hot.
need that in the KJV
God.
because it's a little watered down. They talking about patriotic.
I know.
Let's see what the KJV say. 41, right?
Yeah.
It says, at that time, therefore they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we all die. Neither will we die all as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places. See, it's already just more salty, bro.
Right.
It says, then came there unto him a company of Assyrians who were mighty men of Israel, even all such as were voluntarily devoted unto the law. Also, all they that fled from persecution joined themselves unto them and were a stand to them. So some of the Israelites, they came underneath those brothers for protection. It says, what you getting?
A sitting. Cool. A Scythian, a member of a sect characterized by its religious zeal and piety that flourished in the 2nd century BC during the time of Maccabees and vigorously resisted the Hellenization of Jewish culture and religion. So it was a sect of brothers that just was like, nah, bro, we ain't accepting this.
It was a sect of brothers who were mighty.
That's off.
They was mighty. I'm gonna start calling brothers. I'm surprised it ain't a camp out there that named themselves after this.
The Scythians.
Yeah. Assyrians of the Most High. I know it's coming. Somebody gonna do it.
Somebody gonna do it. You got
Somebody,
somebody.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody gonna do that. That's hot though. I ain't gonna lie, that's hot.
It is. We might even make a page called the Scythians or something. I don't know. I like it.
Make that a thing.
I like it.
Right. So it says, verse 43. It says also. Oh, I read that. I'll read it anyway. Also, all they that fled for persecution joined themselves unto them and were a stand to them. So they joined their forces and smote sinful men in their anger and wicked men in their wrath, but the rest fled to the heathen for succor. So these Israelites, the Assyrians, with the Mattathias and his sons and the company that went with them, they were slaying wicked and sinful men, killing them
Righteously.
righteously, killing their own people
Righteously.
because they going against God.
Yeah. I mean, it was as simple as that. I mean, it's what it is. I mean, you don't get to just be sinful and wicked, and that's not how. If you sinful and wicked, the Most High is not on your side. I mean, that go for anybody. You're not gonna make it long. I mean, it's just as simple as that. But if anybody don't know what that word succor is, it means help. I believe it's going into help. Rest fled for the to the heathen for help. It's back on you, out.
All right, Khan. It says, whoo, they crazy, bro. They was mighty. Then Mattathias and his friends went round about and pulled down the altars. And these is not talking about the Most High altars, talking about the altars that they set up in wickedness, our enemies. And what children soever they found within the coast of Israel uncircumcised, those they circumcised valiantly. So the ones that wasn't keeping the commandments, the kids, they taught them the law and circumcised them.
Yeah.
Right? And don't get so caught up on circumcision on that regard of the flesh, which you should always do that. You should always be circumcised. A young man child, always get them circumcised. That's in the law. But you got to know that circumcision is a sign that you're going to keep the commandments.
It only help if you keep the commandments.
So if you get circumcised in your flesh, but you're breaking God's commandments, your circumcision don't really help you. It don't mean nothing.
Don't matter.
It says, they pursued also after the proud men, and the work prospered in their hand. Look at that.
Yeah, the work.
The work prospered in their hand. They was out there waxing mighty.
Yeah.
Hey, in Acts chapter 5, verse 39, I'm gonna grab it real quick on the fly, then we can double back. Acts 5. You quick.
Come on, dog.
You quick on the sword, baby. You need this at camp.
He said you need this at camp, right?
It says, but if it be of God, you cannot overthrow it. So the Maccabees, it was of God. Nobody could overthrow it. It says, if it be of God, you cannot overthrow it. Lest happily ye be found even to fight against God. So if it's of God and you're trying to fight it, you're not just fighting them, you're fighting God. That makes sense.
They threw a precept on it. Look at this. There is no wisdom nor understanding, no counsel that can prevail against the Lord.
Hot, bro. That's actually a good one.
They threw a quick
Bro, I ain't
precept.
gonna lie, that's mean. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it
write
is.
that down.
Proverbs 21:30. That is hot. That's hot.
That's hot. They know what they doing right there, bro.
Bible Hub be coming through sometimes.
They know what they doing right there. Sheesh. Okay. Verse 48. So then they recovered the law out of the hand of the Gentiles and out of the hand of the kings, neither suffered they the sinner to triumph. They crazy. They recovered the law.
Right.
Mind you, in First Maccabees chapter 1, the Gentiles, these armies, they came through Judea, they came through Jerusalem, and all of the books of the law, all of the copies of the law, they snatched them away and burned them. But we start recovering the books of the law.
Bro, so hold on. So I think we should say this for tomorrow.
You think so? I know it is a big chapter, and I know you want to do a thorough job.
Bro, because look, it go into all of this. Abraham, Joseph, Phineas, Joshua, Caleb, David, Elijah, and bro. Nah, yeah, I want to say that for tomorrow.
How many verses? Right after that, the chapter basically done, though, right? Ooh.
Bro said, ooh.
But the main meat of it is going to be when he, and I know you want to go into those accounts, so.
I do, and they some good accounts because he's trying to he hyping his folks up. Yeah, we need to say that because that's hot. That's hot.
Man, very well.
He said very well. We already been on 54 minutes. He said very well.
Very well. Hey, Anthony Knox, Shalom King, what's the business? Man, you need to go ahead and add me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm gonna drop my Facebook again. So, brothers, a brother said he wanted to ask me a question. That's my Facebook and my Instagram.
Can they still see
Mahar.
my screen?
Huh?
Can they still see my screen?
Yes.
This is what it's about right here. This is it. This is what I enjoy. Oh yeah, this man right here, Mr. Epiphanies.
Yeah.
Come on now, all praises. Every
You
time we start this class, I'm gonna try to have this up just so people know
gotta get
who
the
is
Jake.
that.
You gotta get the Jake one too, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I actually didn't have that saved. I gotta save it. Let me see if I can find
Really,
it
though,
again.
because it
Let
was
me
my.
see. What did I type up?
Oh no. Oh. Maccabees Black, something like that.
I'm gonna type in the Black Maccabees.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I don't even know how to spell,
So
bro.
my Instagram is Mahar Rakah, Mahar_Rakah. If you don't know how to type or spell that, it's right here. And then my Facebook, Mahar Rakah. And y'all tap in with me. I answer or try to answer, questions as best as I can.
I saved it. But for right now,
On that time,
we got this kind of time going on.
man, y'all missed it. If y'all didn't get to read about it, bro, sheesh. We was in Second Maccabees 9, Antiochus Epiphanes. He was so prideful. He was prideful. Let me read this. Because I was reading it again today, bro, and it literally pissed me off all over again. All over again. Watch this. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 21. This is what the man that's laying down right here is Antiochus.
Right here.
The reason why he laying down like that is because the Most High plagued him with an invisible, incurable, unknown disease that the world has never seen. I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you partially. I'm not going to go in too deep or in depth because we did it yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. What's today?
It was
Saturday? Yesterday?
no, because yesterday we went into we actually got into the account of feast dedication. It was Wednesday, I believe.
Okay. Anyways, we went into it in depth and we read why the Lord plagued him like this. Right. She said the first zombie. Yes, that's exactly what was going on. Oh, because she said it was yesterday. I don't know. I'm getting my days mixed up. Anyways, I know we went over it.
Right.
And this is part of the reason why he got plagued like that. First Maccabees 1 and 21. And entered proudly. He entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light. He grabbed the altar, our menorah, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring of vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also of the silver and the gold and the precious vessels. Also, he took the hidden treasures which he had found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken proudly. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel in every place where they were. So he literally went into our homeland, into our temple, and took everything that was worth money proudly, and slaughtered our children, slaughtered the women, slaughtered the men, and made us sacrifice unto idols, made us denounce the Most High God, made us stop keeping the Sabbath and the new moons and the high holy days and the Passovers. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High had to put something so fierce on them. So that's why Aharon is really in the spirit whenever he chunks this picture up here. Look, zoom in on the guy who's holding his nose out.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's hard to zoom in. There we go. Bam. Stank.
The scriptures say he was. Yeah. Yeah.
Stank.
I was reading the comment. Yeah. He's like that for people's stomach. Yeah. So the Most High did him dirty. His own men couldn't even stand. He was stinking that bad, man. So all praise to the Most High for that.
Right.
All praise to the Most High for that. All praise to the Most High. I don't really got nothing else right now, King.
All right, bet. Since we dealing with the Maccabees, I want to see if I can find a closing precept.
I got mine.
In the Mac. Dang, brother.
I just when you said that, I'm like, I already knew what time we was on. Let me grab me one. It's a lot of good ones in here.
It is.
It is.
God.
I might type in this other one. I don't know this one by heart. Died manfully.
I'm trying to find. Man, you going there? You weak, bro. Nah, you weak. You weak.
I don't even got it.
Nah, bro. I know what you're doing, man.
Relax, bro.
I know what you're doing. Okay, let me see if this helps. Nah, that ain't it, man. I'm trying to find it. Bro, it's been a long time since I've seen this verse.
What did it say? You can trust me.
I don't want to. I don't want to, bro.
You can trust me.
No, I can't, bro. I know you.
I'm on your side.
I can hear it in your voice like, hey, trust you. Like, I'm cool.
You think I would do that?
No, I don't. I know you will.
You think that low of me, huh?
He said you think that low of me, huh? Dang. I'm trying to find it. You got your precept ready?
Bro, I'm waiting on you, baby.
Come on, bro. Don't do me like that, man. We got people watching.
You
I'm
gonna do
all
me like
nervous.
that? You gonna do me like that in front of my friends?
In front of friends, man. That's crazy.
Man, like I know it's a hotter one that I'm thinking of, but I can't find it. So
Where you at?
see, you see that?
I think I
You
know
see
where you're
that?
at. Yeah, Second Maccabees 6, huh?
No,
You not?
I'm not.
All right, let me use this. Go ahead.
Oh, I know what you're going. No, you're doing Eleazar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring that one out real quick.
He said I will bring that one out real quick. Ah.
Oh my goodness, but we're gonna read this tomorrow. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just bring up this first one I had, and it's Second Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 17. It says, "For it is not a light thing, meaning it is not a small thing, to do wickedly against the laws of the Most High God, but the times following shall declare these things." So it is not a small or a light thing to break God's law, but the times following, when judgment comes, is going to declare those things. So the men who were sinning, the women who were sinning and breaking God's law, they're going to see. They're going to see in the times following that it was not good to do that. And the men that obeyed him with all their heart, with all their mind, and with all their soul, who abided in the fear of the Most High God, the times following, they're going to have the reward for being obedient. But I yield.
Con, real quick, I was scrolling through my screenshots and I seen something funny.
Let us hear it. Oh, man.
That looks hilarious. I'm sorry. All right. Second Maccabees 6:27. It says, "Wherefore now manfully changing this life, I will show myself such an one as
As
my
my
age
age
required,
required.
and leave a notable example to such as be young to die willingly and courageously with the honorable and holy laws."
Yeah.
And when he had said these words, immediately he went to the torment. It
Yeah,
don't
bro.
need to be broken down, bro.
You got to read that account with them, bro.
We can go over it. We can go over it for sure. We just got to remember Second Maccabees 6.
Con. Um, do you want to grab your other precepts or are you cool?
Nah.
Okay, Con. I'm going to go ahead and end it with Sirach 43 and 30. It says, when you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he exceed. And when you exalt him, put forth all your strength. And don't be weary. Don't be tired. Because ye can never go far enough. Meaning you can never go too far with serving the Most High God and giving him glory and credit. So if you're around people who you can't do that with, you might have to, not even might, you got to change up your circle.
Right.
You got to change up your circle. And we appreciate y'all tuning in with us and breaking bread with us for an hour. This is day one of Feast of Dedication. We got another 7 days. So turn up as much as you can. Shout for joy for us. I want to see a big smile from here to here. We turning up all week. All week. We turning up all week. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a blast. Lord willing, y'all do too. We're going to give all praises and all honor and all glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shah, Shalom,
Shalom.
Ashar, Hanukkah. That's happy Hanukkah. I'm winging that. Shalom.
Yeah. It's all about y'all.